Welcome everyone. Today we're going to explore something difficult, but something we all play a part in confronting. By the end of our time together, we hope you will be able to define what constitutes animal cruelty, including neglect, abuse, and systematic harm such as factory farming, describe current data on prevalence trends, enforcement, including shelter intake and statistics, and USDA enforcement summaries, identify gaps in existing laws, reporting systems, and enforcement, and understand factors contributing to raising reports of abuse, and access particular resources and actionable steps individuals, communities, and professionals take to prevent cruelty and improve recording intervention. Intentional harm, neglect, abandonment, or exploitation of animals. This includes physical abuse, which is injury or violence, severe neglect, which is failure to provide basic needs to these animals, organized cruelty, which are dogfighting, animal fighting, animal tracking, and abuse content, and systematic cruelty, such as industrial farming practices documented in international reviews, ASPCA Shelter and Enforcement Material, World Animal Protection 2004. Some neglect means a failure to provide adequate food, water, shelter, sanitation, and veterinarian care. Neglect is one of the most common forms of cruelty identified in U.S. shelters and enforcement data. Organized cruelty is coordinated or profit-driven harm to animals, including dogfighting and cockfighting, trafficking and breeding for legal activities, and tortures or violent online content like a grooming concern by enforcement bodies and animal protection organizations. This is by ASPCA Enforcement Reporting, The Guardian, RSPCA Reporting 2024. Systematic cruelty is factory farming is the single large source of animal cruelty worldwide. Billions of animals are raised each year, and industrial systems lead to chronic suffering, extreme confinement, overcrowding, fast growth breeding, and lack of necessities. World Animal Protection 2004 Global Reviews emphasizes that these harms are systematic and embedded in industrial production, not isolated incidents. Addressing cruelty as this scare requires policy reforms, stronger global welfare standards, and large-scale industrial change.
We're looking at how the United States enforces the Animal Welfare Act through the USDA and APHIS. Now, in 2024, the agency initiated 209 enforcement actions, which may include formal warnings, civil penalties, and even suspended or revoking people licenses for poor animal care. These actions indicate that the enforcement is happening and that the federal regulators are engaged. However, organizations have pointed out that many violations go unaddressed or receive minimal consequences, and this raises concerns about the capacity of APHIS to properly oversee the license of breeders, research facilities, and any other animal care facilities around the world. In many cases, investigators have reported that serious infractions, such as animals in poor physical conditions, unsanitary housing, or lack of veterinarian care, do not always result in immediate or strong enforcement. And this reflects a challenge in the system for that animal care. So while the numbers show regularity activity, they also highlight a need for stronger enforcement, more resources, and possibly to reform into better standings. Factory farming represents the single largest form of animal cruelty worldwide, not because of the isolated acts of abuse, but because of its scale and structure. Each year, billions of animals, from chickens, pigs, and cows, and many others, are raised in a high density industrial system designed for efficiency rather than welfare. In these systems, the animals are often kept in extremely confined spaces with no ability to move or express natural behaviors like they would do so. Many chickens are bred to grow so quickly that their bones can't support their weight. And for pigs, they're often kept in small cages to where they can't even turn their bodies. And this often creates a chronic stress, pain, and disease for those animals. Worldwide Animal Protection and other global welfare organizations emphasize that factory farming isn't just a collection of bad actors, it's systematic, based off the industry-wide model. And because of sheer numbers of animals involved, the harm is massive, even when individual facilities follow legal guidelines. And this makes factory farming one of the biggest moral and welfare challenges to face, addressing its infrastructure and how the buildings are built. And social media has often become a significant factor in animal cruelty, especially in the past, largely localized or hidden, but now online platforms make abuse content visible to millions of people instantly. And report in animal cruelty, especially in the past, largely localized or hidden, but now online platforms make abuse content visible to millions of people instantly. And reports from organizations like the RS PCA show that certain types of abuse have increased partly because people record harmful acts and share their information or viral recognition. When cruelty is posted online, it does more than shock. It can normalize the behavior and cause others to do it just for click and views. Especially among younger viewers who may not understand the severity of the act. This normalization can lead to desensitization or desensitization, where audience see harm to animals entertainment rather than an abuse. Social media companies face significant challenges in moderating content, especially with their algorithms are designed for engagement, not morality. So harmful videos can spread quite fast before they're even flagged or removed, giving people the chance to either save them or get ideas to do it themselves. The risk is compounded by the copyright effect also, where individuals can imitate the actions they see online, escalating the process of it and the intensity of the abuse. And in addition to to social media being so lenient, it's a provided cover for organized cruelty. Anonymous accounts or closed groups allow illegal animal fighting, wildlife trafficking, and other abusive practices to occur with less detection. The key takeaway from this is that the digital age has amplified both the visibility and the risk of animal cruelty. And this new landscape requires not only stricter platform monetization, but public awareness and education and responsible digital behavior.
Public awareness and changing attitudes. Public concern about animal welfare is rising. In 2023, ASPCA, the national survey, found that 87% of Americans are concerned about farm animal treatment and 65% support stronger welfare laws. Media exposure and social platforms increase visibility. They investigate videos, documentaries, and social media activism has significantly increased public awareness of cruelty in factory farms, shelters, labs, and entertainment industries. Viral content has pushed major companies to commit to cage-free eggs, higher welfare standards, and transparency in sourcing. Education programs and advocacy groups are expanding. Groups like World Animal Protection, the Humane Society, ASPCA report raising engagement in petitions, school programs, and community events. Youth participation in humane education has grown, helping shift a long-term cultural norms towards empathy and accountability. Urban animal cruelty trends that data reveals. Citywide animal welfare hotlines and agencies receive thousands of cruelty and neglect reports each year. Neglect is the most common form of cruelty in urban areas: lack of food, water, shelter, medical care. Data often shows geographic hotspots. Certain neighborhoods constantly have higher cruelty report numbers. Patterns help identify where community support, education, and enforcement are most needed. Collaborative models, animal welfare groups, plus police departments improve response and case outcomes. So, what can you do in this case? Every action matters: reporting suspected cruelty, educating others, adopting responsibility, or volunteering with local shelters. Stronger policies and enforcement help them prevent systematic cruelty and protect vulnerable animals. Get involved locally, volunteer, attend community drives, foster animals, or participate in advocacy efforts.